Welcome back to Cooking with Oswald Rivera, or as it's known on the blog, Oswald at Large. Today we're going to discuss a magic word in Caribbean cuisine. And it is one of the basic recipes that is found in my book, Puerto Rican Cuisine in America, New Rican and Bodega Recipes. And what I'm talking about is sofrito. Phonetically worded the way it's spelled, S-O-F-R-I-T-O, sofrito. Now, sofrito is an aromatic mix of herbs and spices that is used as a base flavoring for cooking countless Caribbean dishes. The concept is as old as time itself. Other cultures have adopted it as well. One main example of this could be garam masala, which is used in Indian cuisine. Another example would be kimchi, which is used in Caribbean cuisine, Korean cuisine. Now, as of late, sofrito, when I was growing up in Spanish Harlem, sofrito was not known outside of my neighborhood. Now it's known worldwide. To wit, you can find sofrito in the supermarket. You can find it at any store. The problem is that if you buy the store-bought stuff, you're going to have preservatives and chemicals. So why go to buy that kind of ingredient when you can make your own sofrito at home quickly and efficiently, and more healthier and tastier than the store-bought stuff. Now, here is an example of the ingredients that I use in cooking sofrito. Most of them are very common. You can find them anywhere in any supermarket. However, the one ingredient that you may have difficulty with is what we call Recao, R-E-C-A-O. As you can see, Recao is a leafy, long-stemmed green herb with a very delicate aroma. Now, you can find Recao in almost any Hispanic, Latino, or Oriental markets. My Uncle Philip of late memory, when he was making sofrito, he would not use the recao, he would use parsley. In the Caribbean version of sofrito, they disregard the recao altogether, so let your taste buds be your guide. Besides the recao, which we already discussed, the other ingredients are ají dulce. These are sweet chili peppers. Now these are not the hot peppers that you usually find. They have to be sweet chili peppers, so make sure that the greengrocer knows that you want ají dulce. The next ingredient is pimento, a green bell pepper. Onion, I prefer Spanish onions, but you can use videla onions or sweet onions, and garlic, as well as cilantro. Now I'm going to prepare the ingredients, the first one being the recao. First of all, you have to wash it, make sure it's dried and it's clean. Then what you do is you chop off the stems end, no problem there, and the rest you just chop finely. Very simple, very easy to do. Again, if you don't have recao, you can use parsley as well. The next ingredient is the onion. Again, as I stated before, I prefer using a red Spanish onion, but you can use a Vidalia onion or you can use a sweet onion, whichever the case may be. It's all your preference. Now, I prefer to chop the onions coarsely. So, simple. Again, almost like a fine dice. Make sure your knife is sharp. You have to have good instruments when you do this. Next ingredient is cilantro, what we call culantro. Again, you wash it, clean it, make sure it's dry, and then you chop it up, and it's already been chopped and in the bowl. You guys can figure it out. And now the ají dulce, the sweet chili peppers. These have to be seeded thusly. And what you do is, you seed them on the cold running water. And there you are. I've seeded the ají dulce, the sweet peppers. Now you just chop them coarsely. And I'll add it to the other ingredients. Next is the bell pepper. Very simple to chop, to do. Cut it in half. Remove the seeds. Make sure you get all the seeds out. And you just chop coarsely. You got the idea. In the Rivera family, we love garlic. It keeps away the vampires. A clove garlic, you can use 2 cloves, 3 cloves, 4. We usually use from 3 to 4 cloves. Simple. We remove a clove and then we crush it. And that's it. And then we add it to the mixture. And now the simplest step of all, we're going to add all these ingredients into a food processor. You can also use a blender, no problem there. First, the onion. Then, the Recao. About 4 cloves garlic. The green bell pepper. The cilantro. The sweet chili peppers. Finally, about 1 or 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil or olive oil, your preference. I prefer olive oil. Some people say that vegetable oil is better because olive oil congeals when frozen. I found out that really it makes no difference because it tastes better when you use the olive oil. Now we mix it all up in the food processor. And as you see, it's well blended. Almost liquefied, but not quite. And that's your sofrito. The finished product, the sofrito. The best way to store this is you place it in a container or an airtight jar in the fridge. It will last for maybe 3 to 4 days, or you can place it in the freezer indefinitely. I've discovered that the best way to store them is using an ice tray. Perfect. And I happen to have an ice tray that's already filled with the sofrito. Simple. The way you use it is you just scoop out 1 ice cube of the sofrito and you use it in your cooking. One ice cube would be equal to about 2 tablespoons of sofrito. And it's much easier than just trying to scoop it out of a frozen can in the freezer. We're going to use sofrito with rice. But as you know, with rice, when we cook rice, we wash it, as they say in Pennsylvania, Dutch country, we wash it in several waters. That means we rinse it until all the starch has been removed. First thing we do is we wash the rice. That means we rinse it with water so that we can remove all the starch. And we do this 3 or 4 times to make sure that the rice is completely cleaned. Sofrito is used in various countless ways. We use it in meats, we use it in stews, we use it in soups. And as I will show you in a minute, we also use it for preparing Spanish style rice, or what we call Puerto Rican rice. When I cook, I use cast iron. Hey, it's been around for 5,000 years. You can't go wrong. It's the best thing for cooking, and it's very easy to clean. This is my rice cooker. This is what I normally use for rice. However, today I'm going to use this pan because it's wider and I can demonstrate better how to prepare the rice. I am going to use sofrito today. As you can see, I've used a lot of these already. I cook a lot with sofrito. What we do simply is we take a scoop, as I said before, and we place it in the pan. We heat it up along with some tomato paste. Some people prefer to use tomato sauce because they say it gives a better flavor. In my family, my mother always used tomato paste. Simple. 2 or 3 tablespoons. And you heat it up. As you can see, all I'm doing is just cooking the sofrito with a little bit of tomato paste, and I've also added a little bit of olive oil to give it texture. And well done. And the next step, we add the rice. You can hear it searing. And then you just mix it all up together so it gets a nice even color. Make sure that you coat as many of the grains as you can with the rice. And then you add the water. When we add the water, the usual measurements are 2 cups of rice to 2 cups of water. I find that to be quite enough. When we make our rice, we like our rice to be firm and soft, not moist. So the measurements that I use is for each cup of rice, I use 1 1/4 cups of water. As you can see, we're adding the water. And I also add a chicken bouillon cube to give it more flavor. Once it's boiling, you cover it. Place it on a slow simmer and let it cook for exactly 20 minutes. And now, friends, just hang out together while we cook for 20 minutes. Let me add that when my mother made her sofrito, she would add a pound of tomatoes to the batch. That's about roughly 2 large tomatoes. It has been from my experience that most people do not add the tomatoes or any other acidic ingredients until they cook the sofrito itself in the tomato paste like I just demonstrated. For perfect fluff-free rice, what we do is, after it's cooked for 20 minutes, is we take it off the heat and we let it sit and stand for 10 minutes. Do not remove the lid. Don't even think about it. Just let it sit until the rice is nice and tender. After 10 minutes, you take the lid off. And there it is, people. Spanish rice, Puerto Rican style. And now the taste test. Oh, it's nice and fluffy. Let's see. You guys should be here. Make reservations. Man, this is good. Again, the rice is firm, moist, almost al dente to the taste. It's perfect. Sofrito with Puerto Rican rice, you can't go wrong. Until the next time, adios. Man, this is good.